Hey, hey, hey. Listen, do you think it's too early to start promoting holiday sales? And I don't mean Halloween, even though it's my favorite holiday. Well, today I'm going to share the number one reason why you need to be doing holiday promotions starting yesterday. And I'm going to give you three creative ways to get more holiday sales. I'm Reese Bikerman. You are inside the Commerce Collab Facebook group. I'm so happy to have you here. And I've got a whole bunch of notes today that I'm going to be looking at. And I also want to go and take a minute and load on the screen to make sure that I'm seeing all of you who might be joining me here on this live. Give me a minute. This always takes, there we are. Hey, cool. All right. First of all, give me a shout out if you're watching this with me live, or if you're watching the replay, drop a comment, say replay. So normally, and tell me if you're like me as well, I roll my eyes at how early most holiday promotions start. Like we'll be in the craft store, Michael's, and it's July and there's Halloween stuff out. And I think it's just so ridiculous. Like let summer be summer, right? Except this year. How many times have you said that and have I said that except this year, right? This year, everything's turned around on its head. And I don't think I need to remind you, it's like a Twilight Zone year. And that includes the holiday stuff. The biggest this year, everything that's happened this year with the pandemic, the lockdowns, and the ramifications of that are why you need to be pushing your products right now as options for holiday gifts. Here's the number one reason why. Shipping times are really uncertain. And I was having a conversation last week with my friend Brenna about this. And she sent me this little promotion that she had gotten from Gap. And Gap was pushing the holiday gift angle already. But Brenna and I were also talking about how she has friends in e-commerce who were seeing continued into the fall delays on their shipping of their items. Like customers just were not getting items as quickly as they were used to getting them. So I think that this is only going to get amplified, this whole shipping lag and delay, as we get closer and closer to Christmas and as the big box retailers start taking over the post office, basically, right? And I think that people in general like customers, may be disappointed. They may not be getting their gifts in time. So this presents an opportunity for you. Whenever there is a potential crisis or issue in the world, I like to look at it like, where is the opportunity for me? So where's the opportunity for you? And the opportunity I see is I want you to start pushing your holiday products now as gifts, even if that feels uncomfortable. And I'm going to give you 3 tips on how you can do this and how you can talk with your people about it. Let me go check in with the comments first. We've got Nazreen here. Hey, live from Cape Town. Hey, so glad to have you here, Nazreen. Let me know if I'm saying your name right or wrong. We've got Lizzie Clark. Hey, Lizzie. I know you just joined the group. Welcome. Great to see you here. And hey, Jillian. Good to see you too. Okay, so back to my 3 tips. The first one is messaging. And this goes into, all right, Reese, I'm going to start pushing holiday gifts now. How am I going to do this? So the first thing is what I just told you about with shipping times, you need to be educating consumers and your customers about. So part of your messaging is going to be about education, that by buying early, they're going to avoid disappointment and just, have a frank conversation with them, very similar to the one I had with you here. And by conversation, I don't mean you've got to get on Instagram TV or Facebook Live. If that's not your jam, that's fine. But in your emails, and frankly speaking, even on your website, and we'll talk about that in a minute, if you're on social media and you're posting there, in your stories maybe, like when you create a little story, or in your Instagram captions and images. So talk about, first of all, avoiding disappointment, which is kind of a more negative message, right? So let's also talk about the positive angle that you can bring to it. If you read some of my emails early in the Commerce Collab, if you joined us for that, and I know not everyone did, one of the things I alluded to was that most years, I'm kind of like Monica Geller from Friends when it comes to Christmas gifts. And what this means is every year, I would traditionally go out in like February and shop all the post Christmas sales, and I would buy all my gifts for people for the year ahead. I'd buy Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, whatever it was, and I'd have them all sorted in bags with people's names. And then when I was really on top of things, I would have those bad boys wrapped in October. Okay, I'm really not that crazy anymore. I just don't have time for it. And I hired a high school student to help wrap me gifts one year. And here's my point. I made fun of myself like I'm Monica Geller about the gifts, and you could take this idea and roll with it. So what you could do is you could do messaging to your audience about this year you can be an organizational genius. Get ahead on holiday gifts during the craziest year ever, and you'll feel a hell of a lot better. You could talk about it like Marie Kondo your gifts this year and surprise everyone ahead of time, or basically the relief they'll feel maybe too in getting this done early, like they can give themselves relief in this year that's been a bit challenging. So that's the positive in a way. You could say like you get the preparedness gold star. Do things, especially you will have people who are in your business, who are your customers, who really are the Monica Gellers of the world. So you can ignite that part of them that's already naturally that way, like kind of type A, they're already prepared. And for the people who aren't, maybe you're help motivating getting their butt out of the chair, and maybe their motivator is more avoid disappointment. Maybe you talk about, you could talk about the fact that big box stores have some really empty looking shelves this year. Okay. And you could also talk about you might not be able to find the gift you want for your kid or your loved one or your spouse at the big box store, but you sure can find it in my store. And if you buy it now, you're going to be assured that you get it by Christmas. And then talk a little bit about the shipping delays that are going on. So you weave the positive messaging with the facts that the shipping delays are going on. The other angle you could push, you can talk again about the empty aisles at the big box stores, but you can also talk about that gives you customer an opportunity to shop your values and buy small. Because there are a lot of people, and I think this year in particular, people's psyches maybe even more latched onto this, that want to support small businesses. They know that small businesses, many of them have been really hurt and are struggling with what's gone on this year. So what you can do is you can say, like, when you buy from my store, you can pride yourself on knowing you helped support a small business, right? So it's okay to talk about your business that way. It's okay to remind people about their values and about how when they buy from you, they're helping put food on a table. And you don't have to spell it out quite that way, but these subtle reminders. You can also, for a promotional and messaging idea, you could do Instagram stories with short videos that show the behind the scenes in your shop preparing for the holidays. Like, what are you doing on your end to prepare for this big holiday rush? Maybe you got in a bunch more shipping boxes. And may I just say that right now is the time to make sure you have all your packaging and shipping stuff in order. Because I think it was Becky J. Anderson and I who were talking about this. If you think you're going to be able to go hustle and get it like in early December, supplies might be out by then, just because supply lines are so strange this year. So my other reminder to you from a logistics point of view is make sure you have adequate supplies. And here's the deal with when it comes to supplies, like your shipping boxes, your dunnage, those types of things that help you with your packaging, you can't really overbuy. I mean, obviously you don't want to go drop 200 grand on it or whatever it is relative to your revenue, but it's not a perishable item. So even if you have extra after the holidays, you're going to still come out ahead. It's going to be okay. They're not going to go to waste. So the other thing I thought is you could have some fun with this, and you could do in your emails or in your social posts, especially in your emails, about this year has been so scrambled and crazy and weird, right? So why not take this and turn it on its head and flip flop the timing of Thanksgiving and Christmas and turn it into a joke? Like tell them you're just kidding. Like you really don't think we should flip flop Thanksgiving and Christmas, but say, look, the reason I'm sharing this is because you want to get ahead of the game and make sure your loved ones have gifts in hand. And by the way, have you seen our beautiful baskets? Right? So it's a way to transition into talking about your products. And you could say something like, by getting ahead of the game, you ensure that the gifts under the tree aren't just leftover generic gift boxes from the big box store. Like, you know, that stuff you go and you buy in Big Lots and it's like $5 or $10 and it's a bath thing. And people buy them at the last minute out of desperation because they don't know what else to buy their loved one. Well, you can fill that gap. You can be the person that helps bring ideas for people so that this year's Christmas is actually even more special than the other ones, or this year's holiday, or whatever it is that you and your customers might be celebrating. The other thing I want you to do is think about putting this messaging on your website. So a lot of you might have, especially on your homepage, a top area, like a banner where you have maybe a photo and a headline. Okay. Well, this would be the kind of thing that you might want to look at swapping out. And you put something on there like beat the postman, shop early to avoid disappointment, or beat the postman, shop early to save the, I don't know. We don't want to necessarily beat the postman. It depends on how you feel about the postman. But the idea is promote it really strongly on the homepage of your website. And you may want to consider at this time going through your site and looking at, like, do you have an area on your site that talks about shipping times and frequently asked questions? Now is the time to update that. You might even consider putting a banner at the top of your site that is sticky, and it says something like, shipping times for everyone this year are delayed, shop early now, something like that, okay? And I'm going to talk to you in a second about another idea I have for a top of page banner. So don't necessarily do both, okay? And I'll explain when I get there. So that was messaging. That was how you talk about all this. Then the second tip I have for you to increase sales is to offer gift wrapping, okay? First of all, charge for this. It shouldn't be a free thing, okay? This is a premium service you are offering people to make their lives easier. And then maybe you have 2 to 3 wrapping styles. Maybe one looks like a traditional Christmassy look, and the other looks like just a normal holiday type paper that isn't Christmas specific. And then the third one maybe is neutral. You know, it's Switzerland. It's the Switzerland wrapping paper. So what you want to do is add this, and depending on the size of your products and what you offer, it's all relative, right? Maybe gift wrapping is an extra $8. Make sure you cover your expenses and your time with this. And then that was the other thing I thought that you could put in a top banner that's sticky on the top of your website, which is like gift wrapping available. This makes a lot of people's lives easier. And so if you do put this on your top banner of your site, just quickly, you don't want to crowd that with a ton of stuff. Don't put the whole like shipping times are delayed and also gift wrapping is available, because it's like mixed messaging and you want to keep people focused on one thing at a time. But if you decide to offer gift wrapping, I would think that would be a great thing for you to promote at the top of your website. Promote it in your social feeds. Write an entire email about it. You can use my story if you want. You can say, I know a woman who paid a high schooler to wrap her gifts for her one year because that's how much it stressed her out and she just didn't have the time. And that's why I decided to offer gift wrapping in my shop, so that not only can you buy with confidence that your gifts will get there early when you buy now, but also they will arrive beautifully wrapped for you, a bow on the side for you to put on, and all you have to do is pop it under the tree. How awesome would that be for a customer to just know that this is taken care of? Like, think of how many people would just love to know that the gift wrapping is taken care of. So you might boost not just your sales, but your average order value if you offer gift wrapping. Talk about this everywhere if you decide to do it. Talk about it in your emails, on your website, like we discussed. And speaking of your website, you might even pop this on your product pages. Like, obviously it's going to be an option, add gift wrap for whatever price and have that pretty prominent. Like maybe in the product description, you update it with gift wrapping now available until December 31st or whatever the date is. Especially if you have a smaller shop and you don't have like 20,000 SKUs, this is totally doable for you to just go in and do this by hand. Now, if you have a big shop with a lot of SKUs, that's a bit different story. You probably have a developer you're working with. So talk with them about how you might automate this. That was number 2 sales idea, gift wrapping. And before I go to number 3, I'm just going to go check the comments quick because I know some people are with us. Ooh, Felicia says, I just added gift wrapping paper. It was a hit this weekend and a holiday box filled with our products ready to give as a gift. Awesome, Felicia. You're already on it. Look at that. This is perfect. Ebony says, this is perfect for me as I'm starting out. Ebony, so glad to see you here. Brenna says, hi. Brenna, I name dropped you earlier in this live. Okay, now we're on to tip number 3. This tip I kind of snagged from our friends over at the Product Boss, Jacqueline and Mina, and I'm going to expand on it a bit. So they talked about this local focus. So here's what this means. As you get closer to the actual holiday dates, so that's Christmas Day for many of us, or it may be earlier in December, Hanukkah, okay? And there's some other holidays and celebrations that go on in December. So think about these dates. And actually include Thanksgiving in this, especially if you are in a food related business or something where you can help with Thanksgiving, maybe even decor. I want you to make sure you got the Nextdoor app on your phone. And there's some other neighborhood apps too. I don't know their names offhand, but go and look for them. And then I want you to start promoting your stuff and advertising local delivery. So again, this kind of came from Jacqueline and Mina, and I'm going to expand on it. I want you to think about not just how can you offer a local solution for people in your immediate vicinity in your town, but can you even go one step further and offer them gift baskets? You could start doing this now, but I want to see you ramp this up as it gets closer to the holidays. And I want to give you 2 examples from actual like businesses that I think this would work for. So the first one is one of our Commerce Collab participants. She's in the Facebook group. Her name's Heather Reed. And Heather she makes handmade accessories for pets. They're adorable. Oh my God, these bows just kill me. So what she could do is she could make a bundle or a gift basket with a few different things like the bandana, the bow, maybe if she's got a coat, right? Or a special leash. And then she could literally wrap this all up and make it look beautiful, you know, with the cellophane and a bow and all, and the nice presentation. And she takes a picture and then says on the Nextdoor app, is there a dog lover in your life who needs a special gift? And then she could put in a message that she's available for custom orders and to get those in early. Like this is where Heather could actually go in early and start talking about custom orders earlier ahead of the actual holiday days. But as it gets closer to the day, she could just push the prepackaged products that she has for dog lovers and say, I will hand deliver this right to your doorstep. Can you imagine you have someone like my husband is a really good example. He tends to buy last minute for me and for most people. So if he was on the Nextdoor app and he saw this, it would be like, boom, this takes care of that for me. I don't have to think, right? And she'll hand deliver it. There's a lot of value in that. He doesn't have to go out to the store. He doesn't have to make a decision. He doesn't have to use his gas. My dog is going nuts. Sorry. She's trying to make her bed. He doesn't have to do any of that with his time. And so there's a great benefit in saying, hey, I will deliver this to your doorstep locally. Here's another example with a different type of business from Heather's. So let's say you sell CBD products and it's legal in your area where you live to sell these. So that can make a really nice gift set. And you could do a theme. So some of you think about themes you could offer. So for example, maybe you offer a relaxation theme or a sleep theme. And then what you can do is take these basket ideas and then add on with other products from the dollar store. So if you did a sleep theme for your CBD products, maybe you go and you get an eye mask, for example, and you possibly pop in some lavender essential oil. So how do you create a bundle and then sell that locally? And you charge a premium for all this because you're making a beautiful gift basket for someone. Maybe if you have a relaxation theme, you add in a towel and some scrub gloves. So, how can you take a theme and then supplement it with inexpensive items that you can acquire locally and turn it all into a basket? Then take a photo of that, pop it up on Nextdoor, or also look for some other neighborhood apps. Um, and I don't care if you're in the city or if you're in a rural area. I think that this can work across the board. And if you're in a rural area, you might have to do a little bit more driving, but actually, to a certain extent, folks in rural areas have even less access to gifts in big box stores. So you, in some ways, might have an edge there. You might think to yourself, well, the market's smaller, but actually, there's also more opportunity for you in that market. And then just take the orders over the phone. If you have the capability to take credit cards over the phone, or send them a PayPal link to just pay online, and boom, get it set, and then ask them when they want it delivered. If they want it delivered, like, think about your whole logistics line, but get it delivered for them. Happy customer, more money for you. So that was my third tip. And know I told you I would give you 3 tips, but sometimes I can't help myself. And I love to sneak in a bonus tip when I can. And last week in the Facebook Live, go check it out. If you haven't, it's still sitting in the videos. I talked about media, okay? And I want you to think about whether your products can be turned into a local holiday story. And you could pitch this to your local TV, radio station, or newspaper. So it's not just a straight product sell. It's not like, hey, TV, I would love it if you featured my CBD products. Like, that's not going to get you anywhere. But if we think back to the example I gave with Heather and the pet store, the pet accessory shop, maybe Heather also makes dog sweaters. And she does a little research and she finds out that canines actually in certain climates do really need a coat. Okay. And if she's living in a climate like that, for example, if she's not in Florida, or maybe actually below 50 degrees, you still need a coat for your dog. So her pitch is like, scientists say that canines still need to keep warm in the winter. And here are 3 ways to help keep Fido warm. And then she goes on air, or she talks with the newspaper, whatever it is, or maybe even pitches to a podcast, and it slips her product in there, right? It's one of the ways. So she's got 2 others, like here, you want to make sure your dog has booties on his feet and that he has a warm bed inside too, and a cozy blanket. And the other thing is having a coat when you go outside, like one of my XYZ coats. So that's how you slip your product in there. Or here's one example with the CBD store, to just get your mind thinking about how you might pitch to the local media about your products. You could say you're on a mission as a business owner to help combat holiday fatigue and stress and make the holidays merrier for people who are in pain or who are stressed out, and the ways that CBD can alleviate that. And so it becomes more about this informational and educational pitch. And then the media might run with that. And then you get to slip your product in there. Even if you don't get to advertise your product, you might get to say, well, hey, I'm Frank from, cbdonline.com or wherever you're from. Okay. And if you think, as you're listening to me, Reese, I'm not an expert. Who am I to go pitch the media about this? Here's what I want to tell you. It's really important. Whatever products you're selling, you are an expert about, and you're an expert about their ancillary benefits. Okay. So if you go and pitch a story about the 5 ways to instantly relax before Thanksgiving, and your product is CBD and it's one of the ways, you're an expert on that. It's okay. You can do this. I am empowering you to do this. So to recap, I emphasize why you need to push the holidays hard. One word: shipping. Okay. Now, and then I gave you 3 ways to increase holiday sales: through your messaging, how you talk about this with people, right? Offer gift wrapping, and focus locally, and especially think about building some gift baskets that you hand deliver for people. And then I had a bonus tip about pitching to the media about your story and maybe how your products relate to the holiday, but don't push the product angle, push more the story about how you're helping the consumer. And here's what I would love to know from you in the comments. Have you started talking about the holidays yet in your promotions? Just drop Yeah, I'm doing holiday promotions, or no, Reese, I'm going to get on it today after listening to you. Anyway, I love doing this Facebook Live with you today. I hope you got a lot out of it. Let me know. Let me know if you're watching the replay. Just hit replay in the comments. And I will see you again in a Facebook Live next week with another great topic. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.